It is July 14th. I'm starting this with the intention of becoming a web designer full-time as my remote source of income. I have been self-studying for approximately a week and a half, so this is my first week update of what I have learned so far, learning on my own web design. Please join me on my journey, and hopefully we can make some money out of this. Wrapping up week one, my favorite website so far has been Google Fonts. It's probably like the best place I have found to get free fonts. We are going over typography and how different fonts affect what feeling you want to convey for a website. So it's just very handy. They organize the different fonts in terms of sans serif or serif, which each have their different meanings, believe it or not. So yes, I've just been really enjoying Google Fonts in general. For this particular assignment, I had to change up the copy for each of these particular pieces of text because based on the text, it could convey a certain feeling. So you want to be sure to pick a type of font and letter spacing, like line spacing, that conveys that sort of feeling, if that makes sense. So for this one, it's like a trip to Hawaii. So you want something like more swoopy and handwritten and less serious. I also changed the line spacing for the paragraphs so that it's easier readability. And overall, I think it looks a lot better. It just looks more like trip to Hawaii, which is honestly the vibe you want to go for. As far as this next piece of copy, I went with a serif font. Serif fonts means that if you look at the B in barbecue, there's extra spacing behind the vertical line where the B is, like right above it, like it goes past it instead of being straight up and down. If you look at serif fonts next to sans serif fonts, you'll understand more what I mean. But after looking up examples, I noticed that a lot of them go with that particular type of font, so that's what I did there. And for the last one, I just looked up hosting provider posters, and it looks like they use like a font similar to this, very businessy, very straight, very blocky. And this particular font that I use, which is called PT Serif, actually is designed to go with PT Sans, which is what I have for the paragraph text at the bottom. The assignment was to use two different fonts, and when you're creating web pages, you want to just stick to two different fonts because too many fonts can become confusing and overwhelming for people. So essentially, that's what I learned this week. I like to normally do my studying with TV on in the background as background noise, and I'll do my Figma lessons on my iPad using their web interface, which honestly is a lot clunkier than downloading it on my desktop, but I honestly would much rather just use my iPad and lay on the couch kind of. So that's how I've been doing my assignments. I try to dedicate at least 30 minutes to an hour a day of learning web design, and over time I'm sure I'll learn quite a bit. So far, I'm really liking it. I have a background in test engineering, and I'm just really hoping to get to the point where I can be a web developer. I've tried to learn web development on my own before, but when I would create web pages, I always felt like they looked very amateur and not very good. So I'm learning web design now in order to make my web pages look better and overall be a better tech person, if you will. But yes, that's been my first updates for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week. Bye.